Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, can you guys hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? I'll give you my email a bit later. We'll see if a few more come on, Ben. Yeah, can you guys hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? I'll give you my email a bit later. We'll see if a few more come on, Ben. What was the name of that train you were looking for, Ben? What was the name of that train you were looking for, Ben? Was it the 5711? Alright, we'll start this stream right now. So welcome to it. This is actually the first one. This one we're actually going to learn how to do some basic research. We're going to look at a particular... Is it the 5711? Be the one. Okay, so the first protocol for most of you will have access to is Google. So as you can see, we just put a put the name of the train we're looking for in Google, and we've got quite a number of hits. Now depending on what you want, we've got photos obviously. Alright, we'll start this stream right now. So welcome to it. This is actually the first one. This one we're actually going to learn how to do some basic research. We're going to look at a particular... Okay, so we'll have a look at the first hit that came up. Preserve steam locomotives down under. This is obviously a fairly old Clyde, but it does give us the build, telling us it was built by Clyde Engineering. So that'll give us, it's got some nice photos of it. So that'll come down. Actually what the inside of the boiler looks like. So that's pretty impressive. Comes through here. Alright, so that's one link. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, there looks like a historical mob have gotten hold of it.
This is obviously a fairly old type, but it does give us the build, telling us it was built by Clyde Engineering. So that'll give us some nice photos of it. So that down, actually what the inside of the boiler looks like.
Okay, so this heritage mob in the Blue Mountains. Give us a bit more information about it.
So that's one.
Again, some more photos. Yeah.
Let's see what else we can find.
So it was done in Grenville. It was built, so that's handy. A little bit more on the statistics of the actual unit. Again, depends on what you want. Some more information and photos. So this will give you some basic information. But now, if you're wanting more particular information,
Blue Mountains gives a bit more information about it. Again, some more photos.
Look at Trove, which is the newspapers that have been archived.
Statistics of the actual unit.
So we have some information being held at the National Library.
This will give you some basic information. Now, if you're wanting more particular information.
Okay, so this one here is actually a photo. Have a look at the photo. Tells us a bit about the photo. This one's actually online at the archives, which store the newspapers. So you've got more links there.
So it has some information being held at the National Library.
Okay, we'll have a look at what Trove Star I've got. Is there any particular specific information you're wanting there, Ben?
So this one here is actually a photo.
That's a modelling business.
A bit about the photo. This one's actually online at the archives.
Hi, Victorian Rails.
Which store the newspapers.
Okay, there's Facebook. Let's have a look at the museum. I think we've been here, but we'll have a look.
Is there any particular specific information you're wanting there, Ben? This one here is actually a photo. That's a modelling. Tell us a bit about the photo. This one's actually online at the archives.
Hi, Victorian Rails. Let's have a look at the Heritage Register, if it loads. Okay. Don't like that. Yeah, come to think of it, neither did I. But here we are, I'm all live. So it appears it's had some cosmetic work done to it. It doesn't look like they've made any attempts to get it back to mainline condition. Some old photos back in 1962, Cootamundra. So here we go, here's a photo that's detailing before electrification in New South Wales, so that's handy.
But here we are, I'm all live.
Well, it's a photo of it in the rain. That's a pretty good photo.
So it appears it's had some cosmetic work done to it. It doesn't look like they've made any attempts to get it back to mainline condition. Photos back in 1962, Cootamundra.
So, papers. Well, I've looked to see if there's anything in newspapers about it.
Photos detailing before electrification in New South Wales, so that's handy.
Train notes.
Wow, it's a photo in the rain. That's a pretty good photo.
See if that works.
Cosmetic work done to it. Doesn't look like they've made any attempts to get it back to mainline condition.
I'm going to check out the archives in the newspapers. Yes, do that. Okay, so it's not really giving us much. This is one of the pitfalls you have. Okay. Railguard killed. Let's have a look at that article. Hi, Josh.
I'm going to check out the archives in the newspapers.
When it loads.
Okay, so it's not really giving us much. This is one of the pitfalls you have. Okay. Railguard killed. Let's have a look at that article.
Okay, so this here, what we're looking at now, is actually a digitalised version of a newspaper.
Hi, Josh.
It was the Melbourne Argus, Tuesday the 28th of April 1908, so not long after Federation, and page 6, and the story is guard killed. So this is one thing. It doesn't necessarily relate to the actual train that we're particularly looking for. There's also no guarantee that there would actually have been a newspaper article about that particular train.
Okay, so this here, what we're looking at now, is actually a digitalised version of a newspaper. Hi, Josh. It was the Melbourne Argus, Tuesday the 28th of April 1908, so not long after Federation, and page 6 of the story is guard killed.
Yeah. So I encourage you to all that are interested in researching pretty much anything that's historical, be it a train, a car, or a person. This is one location that you can find. Do a basic search, so if you know the name of the person or an incident, then you can type it in, do a general search. Over in this column here, this is actually what the algorithm has read from the actual scanned article. This is an image of the actual newspaper, and this is the text version that's been edited. So you can actually go in if you find that there's been a mistake in here, that the technology hasn't picked up something quite properly, and it quite often can do that. And if you can read it, then you can actually go in and edit that copy, that line itself. We'll go back and we'll see if we find others.
Or an incident, and you can type it in, do a general search. Over in this column here, this is actually what the algorithm has read from the actual scanned article. This is an image of the actual newspaper, and this is the text version that's been edited. So you can actually go in if you find that there's been a mistake in here, that the technology hasn't picked up something quite properly, and quite often can do that.
Okay, so we've got some interesting articles, so you can read through these, scroll through and see if there's actually anything you're looking in particular. We'll go back to Google and we'll have a look. Just see what we find with that. Okay, so we get a bit of information that comes up here from the Valley Heights Rail Museum.
Articles, so you can read through these, scroll through and see if there's actually anything you're looking in
So
particular.
that's something we've covered before.
We'll go back to
Wrong button there. Turn that down. So it gives you some information here. 5701 commenced its run in 1929. Okay, so we know it was built around 1929 and in a run 1930. Okay, so it gives us business, right, same information. That can be a track too that you find around okay, New South Wales D57. So what does Wikipedia tell us? Okay, so this is a D57 D-class locomotive, Clyde and Granville. So we have some information in there. Because the thing to understand about research is actually research is built on the question you're actually asking, and a good question will generate several more questions. This is why research can be a very time-consuming process. And for those of you who are going to go on and do further study like university, then you can find that you can spend a lot of time researching, but you actually have to get down and write exactly what needs to be written. Okay, so it did a run to Perth, or Penrith I should say. Okay, so now we can have a look at Clyde Engineering.
the thing to understand about research is actually research is built on the question you're actually asking. And a good question will generate several more questions. This is why research can be a very time-consuming process. And for those of you who are going to go on and do further study like university, then you'll find that you spend a lot of time researching, but you actually have to get down and write exactly what needs to be written. So did a run to Perth, Penrith, I should say. Okay, so now we can have a look at flight engineering.
So there's a photo of it taken at Junee in New South Wales. I have to say that a lot of this stuff in New South Wales is pretty much new to me. I've not really researched the history of it too much, although the other day I did have a bit of a go at doing some research, and I found something that could be rather controversial, and it's looking like the first rail line may have actually been built in New South Wales and not Victoria. So I'll be looking into that a bit later on to see whether that stands up. Now, the other thing with research as well, you'll notice that referencing is a good thing if you're looking for more information, particularly with places like Wikipedia. It's a very good idea to get used to the idea of actually going and checking out the links as best you can. Department of Environment and Heritage. Okay, that takes us to another link.
rather controversial. Just looking at like the first rail line may have actually been built in New South Wales and not.
I'll wait for that page to load.
So I'll be looking into that a bit later on. We'll see how that stands up. Now, the other thing with research as well, you'll notice that referencing is a good thing if you're looking for more information, particularly with places like Wikipedia. It's a very good idea to get used to the idea of actually going and checking out links as best you can.
Yeah, so looking around this site, we've followed a link here to New South Wales Department of Heritage. See if we have a look at the image library, see if we find anything on there. Should be able to find a way to research it. Up here. See if I can find anything on here.
New South Wales Department of Heritage.
Okay, so that result will open a new tab. Okay, so that's just linked us back to that main page, so that was relatively useless. However, if you're actually really keen to do research with organisations like this, probably the best thing is, if you can't find anything doing a general search on their website, is to just fire off an email to them and they may be able to help. Might speed things up a bit. I might actually start looking. I can see some of you are looking at doing wanting to do a Victorian locomotive. I think what we'll do then is we'll have a look at Heavy Harry. Well, first my Wikipedia page comes up.
Okay, so that's just linked us back to that main page. So that was relatively useless.
So now, as you can see pretty quickly, we've got a whole story. We understand that we're looking at the steam locomotive and not the diesel version of the H-class. So look down here. We look at the history. This gives us a basic outline of the history. We've got different information. Yes, it did go as far as Albury. You can see down through detail the look at these photos. Check that out. That is a lot of steel. For those who aren't aware, this locomotive is actually currently down at the Railway Museum in Melbourne. There's a photo of it in operation. Actually, there's a photo of it at the Newport Rail Museum. You can tell by the staircase. It is huge. Okay, so you've got a bit of information in here. Production, service life, if you're looking at doing that, its demise, its preservation, the fact that there's HO scale models. Now again, on this one here, you've got under the references, you've got a lot of publications. This here is an ISBN code. Now every book has one of those, so we should be able to see if we can find that book. So we'll copy that and we'll do a YouTube search. Google search, Wikipedia. So that appears to be a book based on it.
Okay, so you've got a bit of information here. Production, service life,
Okay, this gives some more of the basic information. It's brief history, brief design. Again, more production. So this is pretty similar information.
This here is an ISBN code. Now every book has one of those, so you should be able to.
So let's see if we can find that book. Power Parade. Power Parade was a publication that was written by Vic Rail. Should do a search on those. Some of these publications are. Oh, there's a PDF version for sale, by the way, on Facebook. Okay, so there's the idea of the book. That's the state government. So that'll be available at the library. You might actually have to physically go in and read a version.
Some of these publications are. There's a PDF version for sale, by the way, on Facebook.
vicrail.net. We'll have a look at there too. They look like they may have them for sale. So that if you're looking to get more information, you may be needed to spend a little bit of money. Another thing with research is if you find an organisation, this is actually a PDF version of what one of the publications look for. This is actually a very interesting little publication. It gives you some of the very first locomotives that were in operation in Melbourne, going back to the days of Hobson's Bay Rail. So you can scan through that. And just a class of their own. Beautiful pieces of machinery. So, don't know if Heavy Harry will be in this one. First Edward Harry. Here we go. Okay, so we have a little bit of. Let's check if that's actually Heavy Harry or is his no H2. Okay, so Heavy Harry is actually mentioned in this publication. I'll provide a link to this a bit later so you guys can get to it and have a read. So here's it's a 3-cylinder. Okay, so overall length is 92 feet and 5 3/4 inches. To convert that to metric, just simply go to Google and type in you want a metric convert. Um, so so there you go. So it was withdrawing 1958. So there you go. So this is actually pretty interesting. Look, I'm going to keep. Oh, these are my favourites. These ones, I love these B class diesels. So is there any other train you guys would like me to have a quick squiz at? So it's a swing door. Harris. Did look into this particular locomotive rail car here. Um, they've actually got one that's been preserved in the US. I might do a thing on that a bit later on. What do you want to know about Steam Rail Victoria NH trains? Or HN trains, I should say, sorry. Victorian Railways trams. So yes. Yeah, I'll definitely provide you guys with a link to this book. I think it's well worth you having in your archives, even if it is only a PDF version at the moment. Some of you might be lucky enough to come across an actual hard copy one. Um, Okay, so we'll have another look and see what we've got down here. Other particular locomotives, the Argus. Oh, that might be a very interesting article. Okay, so this is again another copy of an article from a newspaper. This one's the Argus, which was a paper published in Melbourne, long since gone. It actually had a couple of names, variations of its print, but you can see the story is here as well. Obviously this one's going through commissioners decided they want some new A2 class design before the war. So obviously it was a bit before Second World War. No, First World War, given that that publication date is 1923. So that would be the First World War. Or as I personally would call it, World War One Part 2. Oh, sorry, World War One Part 1. Now, a few also with these articles here, you can actually buy a full copy of the paper if you so wish. or you can simply, I'll find the button again, um, change it around a little bit. No. Download it. So you have an option of downloading it either as an image, or a PDF, or just text version. So we'll have a look at the article itself. We're not interested in the rest of the stuff on that page. So we'll have a look at doing it as a PDF. It's creating a PDF. With these things too, because of the size of the article itself, particularly if you want to print it off, you might have to do a couple of versions of it. Yeah, bugger off. As you can see, it's created a copy of the article as you would see it in the paper, complete with a reference of where you got it, the whole story as it was printed. So yeah, so that's one way of getting that information if you are after it. I'll close that. Let's see if there's other articles. Let's go back here. Okay, now we'll go back to the references here for Heavy Harry. You've got the ARHS, which is the Australian Royal Historical Society museum to see. An article there, so we'll have a look at that article as well. I spotted down too in that list that there's other newspaper articles about Heavy Harry, so we'll have a look at those in a little bit. So this one's actually an article that's on the Wayback Machine. So we'll see if it loads, because sometimes, unfortunately, with the Wayback Machine, images themselves can't load. So there was only one of him built. So that gives a bit of basic information. Back down. We should have done the bottom. Another article in the Argus, so we'll have a read of that one as well. Okay, so we've got a bit of history here on how Heavy Harry was used to haul the Spirit of Progress to Albury. So that itself is a bit of an interesting story. Okay, well that's something interesting that I didn't know. Obviously Heavy Harry H-class locomotive was built to haul the overland, to allow them to just use one locomotive without the need for double heading. So that would indicate that that train had a lot of power, so that's good. NH trains, can you tell me exactly what you're looking for with Steam Rail Victoria.
So that itself is a bit of an interesting story.
So let's have a look at downloading this one, because this one might be a bit different. One with a PDF.
Okay, well that's something interesting that I didn't know. Obviously, heavy H-class locomotive was built to haul the overland, to allow them to just use one locomotive without the need for double heavy. So
Bugger
that
off.
became
Okay, so as you will see here with this copy that I just tried to download as a PDF, you'll see this is one possible thing that you'll find with articles. It's caught what was actually
tell me exactly what you're looking
on
for.
the screen. So what we need to do is zoom back out, see if we can get the full article. Okay, we'll have a look at the K100 in a moment. Okay. So let's have another look and see what that PDF. Change size, medium, small. Let's have a look at the small version.
As you'll see here with this copy that I just tried to download as a PDF, you'll see this is one possible thing you'll find with articles. It's called what was actually.
So if any of you are actually looking to research a particular train or particular piece of rail infrastructure, be it a bridge, be it a closed rail line, or any of those things, and you're not sure how to go about it, feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to help you go through the process. I won't do the actual research for you though, because I believe that's something you need to actually learn to do yourselves. So page 3, it's not doing what I want. Alright, the other tricky thing you can do is you can always do a print screen as well.
So if any of you are actually looking to
So we'll do that. We'll go over here. I'll do print screen, and we'll use something really basic. This is very good old fashioned Windows Paint. Paste it in. So there's the article. We won't go full size. That's what we want. We want the cropping tool. So now we can crop that out. Copy, file, new, no, paste. And there you actually have a larger version of that article itself. So that's another little trick you can use to get yourselves a copy of the text from that newspaper if it's just a little bit too difficult. Of course you can increase the size, take it across to that full piece of paper. So there you go, now you actually have a copy of it you can read. The only other thing I'd make sure you're doing is if you're going to do anything professional with it, or semi-professional, to keep a reference. Alright, so now you've had a bit of a look around, we've had a few ideas. Okay, so we'll have a look at the K100 and see what we can get. I'll just open a new tab, and it's the K100. Locomotive, and we'll do a search. So there you go, there's some images that have come straight up. Another Wikipedia article about the locomotive. So again, you've got the same deal, you've got a photo of it, basic information in the side panel here, preserved units, so that's that one. Again, at the bottom there should be references. So okay, this article is interesting. Operational, so we actually have a few of these K classes that are obviously operational. some of you have already made some videos about these, so that's absolutely fantastic. Obviously the Mornington one, Morty Alec, several around the place. Here's some more that are listed and under restoration, and a list of some that are on static display. And we have some that are in storage. You obviously have HO models, N-scale models, references as well, Big Sig, Museum, Australian Rail Heritage History December. That's a PDF. Let's have a look at that one. I'll open that in a new tab. That article when it loads. Okay, so there's the K classes. That's quite a hefty list. Let's zoom in on that. How do we zoom in on it again? Bugger off. So we'll zoom back out of that a little bit. Get rid of that plane. That's better. So yeah, so that's all of it. So it's looking like out of all that were built, there's 1, 2, 3 that have been scrapped. So that's interesting. Off register. In case you're wondering what that means in rail terms, they actually have a register of locomotives and rolling stock, or they used to have anyway. And of course, they'd go, if they were looking for a locomotive they needed for a job, they could look at the register and go, okay, well, we've got this one available, it's operational, it's not in being repaired or out on service. So had original numbers, second numbers, so we've had some that look like they've had their numbers changed. Date the number was changed back in the 40s. That's interesting. Wonder why they did that. Electric lighting, so they had electric lighting, they were modified. Blow down muffler. So council. Okay, so there's that. Quite a lot of information here. Okay, class locomotives, restoration group. Anything, okay. Oh, okay, we'll open that. Article, the Australian Transport Safety Bureau. Oh, that one when it loads. Come on, internet, do your thing. Let's go back here. Crib Point. Let's have a look at that one. 1995. Tab. So there you go. We have one at Crib Point. There's a few images. Let's have a look. Here you go away. Yeah, alright, cookies. Yeah, acceptable. Go away. Hate cookies. I can finish pretty soon. So it's being repaired. If you guys have to go, then you have to go. I will be putting this up. I'll do a little bit of an edit to it a bit later and put it back up so you guys can actually come and check this out. Um, the whole idea of this one was to actually teach you guys a little bit on how to go about the researching and how sometimes it can be take you down a rabbit hole. So there's some links. Alright. Now it's taking forever. We'll go back. So it looks like there's quite a lot of K-class locos that were under restoration or being kept. So that's a good thing. I'd be interested to find out why they've kept so many. So maybe someone will go and ask that question. Let's have a look. Okay, locomotives K100 on Vixig. Let's have a look at that. So, so there's some interesting photos. Of course, we've got some YouTube videos that Google's thrown up. Possibly some of them are yours. Steam Rail, YouTube Watch. We won't watch any of those. An accident. Let's have a look at that. So there's on Steam Rail. So when it loads. So there's a lot of information there. I already am on your mailing list. Go away. So again, this gives a lot of information. I know you guys don't particularly like homework, but might I suggest that a couple of you perhaps pick a locomotive that you're interested in and research it up, write a little thing. For those of you who are doing YouTube, perhaps use it to create a video for yourselves and put it up, because I'd like to see what you guys do with this information now that you know what's going, how to do basic search. 80k here. That's a fantastic photo. Which locomotive do you want me to look at now? So we're looking at the K class. We could go on to A2 or the R711. Spencer Street as I remember it. Ooh, Hitachi. printing article. Okay, then we'll have a look at the A2. So again, we'll come up here. Again, Google's throwing up quite a lot of the same type of information. So you'll have, obviously it's come up with some photographs, images, it's thrown up some YouTube videos, steam rail site. What exactly do you want to know? Is there a particular question you're trying to get answered? Okay, then we'll have a look at the A2. So again, come up here. Google's thrown up quite a lot of the same type of information. So you'll have, obviously it's come up with some photographs, images, it's thrown up some YouTube videos, steam rail site. What exactly do you want to know? Is there a particular question you're trying to get answered? Another PDF document. Road transportation. Okay. Probably not after information on rules and regulations. Yeah, probably not information we're after. And that's not what it's going to load, so they can bugger off. Fine again. Look at what I know. Could tell you that, but oh, hey Josh, there's a book on railways published in your neck of the woods. So is it just you now, HN train, and the others gone off to bed? See if we can find a copy of that book. Oh, there we go. Hey Josh, Okay, we'll have a look at the National Library of Australia. See if we can get a copy. Okay. So you maybe actually buy a copy from the library. Okay, NH, if you've had enough, mate, I'll close down now. I don't think anybody else is watching. Have a great night, and I'll catch up with you later on, I guess.